Without you knowing it, women are already testing you. If you think it's just a feeling, a conversation at unexpected moments, then you're wrong. Because from the start, she's watching how you react, how you handle pressure, how stable you really are. Not to destroy you, but to classify you. Not based solely on your looks or words, but on the invisible power you radiate. Today, you have to change and no longer be like most men. In this video, you'll discover 7 secret tests women use to size up your power. Some are subtle, some are brutal, but all of them are decisive. And if you fail just one, you lose her respect, her trust, and her desire, silently, instantly, without ever knowing why. Stay to the end, because these aren't tricks. They're survival tools for any man who wants to lead, not chase. Test 1. She subtly challenges your authority. She's not angry, she's not dramatic, but something shifts. She starts questioning small things, nothing aggressive, nothing obvious. She interrupts, she critiques, she pushes gently, just to feel the boundary. This isn't about the topic, it's about your energy. She wants to know, is this man rooted, or can he be shaken? Machiavelli once said, "Men ought either to be well treated or crushed." Why? Because ambiguity invites resistance. In her mind, if your authority can be challenged with ease, it was never real. Here's what can happen to you. You're talking about your plans. She smirks and says, "That sounds kind of basic." You get defensive. You over-explain. You list your resume. You've already lost. Because now, your value depends on her approval. Or in a relationship, you make a decision, maybe about dinner, travel, or finance. She questions it, and instead of calmly reaffirming your choice, you spiral into justification mode. You've just traded leadership for validation. Here's your next move. Don't justify. Don't explain. Just affirm. A king doesn't beg the crowd to understand his decision. He holds the frame with calm precision. She's not looking for a debate. She's scanning for emotional fragility. Now let's move forward, because the next test destroys men who crave harmony more than they crave respect. Test 2. She creates drama without reason. Everything was smooth. Then suddenly, it shifts. She pulls back emotionally. Her tone changes. She accuses you of something vague like, "You've changed lately," or "You're acting different." You're confused. You replay the past week in your mind. But here's the truth. There is no reason. That's the test. Machiavelli taught, "It is much safer to be feared than loved when one of the two must be lacking." She's not looking to feel comfortable. She's looking to feel your strength when things become unstable. Let's set the scene. You're texting. She was responsive all week. Then she goes silent for 10 hours. You panic. You send 2 more texts. You ask if something's wrong. You just failed. Because you made her emotional turbulence your center of gravity. Or you're in a long-term relationship. She creates tension over something irrelevant. You try to fix it. You plead. You chase the return of harmony. Now she sees you as emotionally dependent on her state. Here's a powerful move to do. Let the storm pass without reacting. Hold your emotional rhythm. Speak with clarity, not confusion. Let silence be your ally. When she sees you remain unshaken, she finds something rare. A man who does not move unless he chooses to. Time to move on. Because the next test doesn't come through words. It comes through absence. Test 3. She withholds attention to trigger the chase. This one is silent. No confrontation, no anger, just distance. She slows her responses. She becomes emotionally vague. She stops giving warmth, not to end things, but to observe how you react to the void. She's not losing interest. She's observing. Can you stay grounded when the reward is removed? Machiavelli reminds us, the promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present. She gave you warmth. Now she takes it back and watches what you do with the silence. Picture this. You were talking daily. She starts answering with one-word replies. You double text. You overthink. You try to reignite the vibe. She sees that her attention controls you. Or in a serious relationship, she becomes emotionally distant. You start buying gifts, over-complimenting, apologizing for things you didn't do. You've just proven your emotions are externalized. Her behavior defines your self-worth. Here's a smart play. Match her pace, not her panic. Reduce your presence slightly. Stay warm, but not eager. Let her feel your value in the quiet. She wants to feel your stability when the lights go out. That's what separates the leader from the follower. Let's keep going, because the next test is colder and sharper, and most men collapse instantly when it happens. Test 4. She flirts in front of you or mentions other men. She talks about her male coworker who gets her jokes. She mentions how her ex used to take her to places like that. Or she giggles at a message while sitting next to you. Is she into someone else? No. She's into seeing if you react. This is a status test. Machiavelli once wrote, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." She's observing your internal reality. She wants to know, do you collapse under competition? Here's what can happen to you. You're with her and she says, "This guy from the gym helped me stretch yesterday." You get cold. You ask who it was. You bring it up again later. She now sees you as insecure, emotional, weak. Or your girlfriend says, "I ran into my ex today." And you try to act cool, but then check her messages when she's not looking. She knows, and she never sees you the same. Here's your next move. Don't give the test oxygen. Smile, make a calm comment, or redirect. Let her see that you remain untouched, not because you don't care, but because you know who you are. Nothing is more attractive than silent certainty. And now, we go deeper, because the next test doesn't target your mind, it targets your self-control. Test 5. She wants to see if you're easily tempted. This is one of the most misunderstood tests. It's not about intimacy. It's not about pleasure. It's about control. She doesn't come with direct questions. She doesn't say anything obvious. But she starts creating tension, subtly, through body language, through pauses, through gaze, through silence. She's not inviting you. She's watching you. She wants to know, can this man hold his power, or does he give it away the moment desire appears? Because in her mind, a man who instantly reacts to every signal, who always takes the bait, is not strong. He's ruled by urges. Machiavelli wrote, "A prince must learn to master the nature of the beast." That means not being dominated by instinct, but ruling it. Here's what can happen to you. You're watching a movie. She sits closer. She brushes against your leg. There's a pause. You pounce. You become overly eager. She pulls back, not because she wasn't into you, but because you became predictable. Or in a relationship, She walks by in a playful way. You drop everything. You abandon your task. You follow her around like a satellite. Now she knows. Your focus, your center, your leadership, all disappear the moment you feel teased. Here's how to pass the test. Stay calm. Stay warm. Stay tuned in. But stay in control. Your job is not to chase the moment. It's to hold the moment. The man who knows how to create heat without rushing to consume it. That's the man who becomes unforgettable. Let's move forward. Because the next test is more dangerous. It's not about temptation. It's about your edge. Test 6. She tests your masculine edge without warning. This test is psychological. It comes through humor, sarcasm, light jabs, random comments. She's not trying to hurt you. She's trying to see what you're made of. Will you laugh? Will you crumble? Will you get reactive? She wants to know if your masculine edge is real or just something you imitate. Machiavelli said, "The first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him." In the same way, she measures your depth by the way you carry yourself in discomfort. Let's break it down. You're on a date. She says, "You're really wearing those shoes?" If you sulk, defend, or act annoyed, you lose. If you smirk and say, "Only legends wear these," while holding eye contact, you pass, or you're in a relationship. She says, "You're such a soft boy sometimes." You get offended. You get serious. You try to explain. She instantly disconnects. But if you look at her, smile, and say, "You wouldn't survive me if I wasn't," she sees depth. Here's the truth. A man with edge doesn't flinch when poked. He knows who he is, and he turns the energy back without losing control. That's real polarity. That's tension. That's power. But there's one final test, and it's the one that decides everything. Test 7. She tests your direction. This is not a casual situation. It sounds innocent, but it's not. She looks at you and says, "What are we doing? Where do you see this going? What do you want?" And she's not looking for the perfect answer. She's looking for clarity. This is where most men crumble. They think she wants romance or softness or some poetic line. She doesn't. She wants to feel your inner compass. Because a man with no direction can never be trusted. A man without vision cannot protect or lead. Machiavelli explained, "A prince who relies on others is doomed to fall." That applies here. If your direction depends on her, you've already lost the throne. Let's illustrate. You've been seeing her for a few weeks. Things are going well. She asks, "Do you see something serious coming from this?" You hesitate. You say, "I'm just vibing," or "We'll see what happens." She doesn't hate you. She just slowly detaches. Because in her mind, you're floating, not leading. Or your partner says, "Do you ever think about family or legacy?" And you say, "I don't know. I'm not sure yet." That might feel honest, but it's weak. Here's what you say instead. "I know what I want. I move with intention. I take my time to choose. But when I do, I don't hesitate." You don't have to give her a plan. You have to show her you have a plan. And if you're still building it, even better. Because leadership isn't about answers. It's about direction. And once she feels that, she stops testing. To conclude, become the man who doesn't flinch. Every test she throws at you isn't an attack. It's a mirror. Not to see if you perform, but to see if you exist. solid. Here, unshakable. Because deep down, every woman is scanning for that one signal. The unspoken proof that you're not like the others. That you don't tremble when things shift. That you don't collapse under pressure or change shape to be chosen. Most men fail not because they're weak, but because they try too hard to be liked. They explain, they chase, they justify, and in doing so, they hand over their crown. But you're here because you feel something different. You know there's more inside you. A version of you that doesn't beg, doesn't flinch, doesn't ask for permission. A man who doesn't need control, because he is control. That's what these tests are really about. She's not trying to punish you. She's trying to feel something real, something she can trust. Not your charm, not your muscles, but your weight, your edge, your direction. Because when a woman feels that kind of gravity, she doesn't test to push you away. She tests to find out if she can finally let go. So don't be afraid of tension. It's not your enemy. It's your arena. It's where you rise. It's where your silence becomes louder than any man's words. You don't need to impress her. You need to impress it upon her. That you're the storm she can't shake. That when the world moves, you don't. That's how she stops testing. Not because you passed, but because you finally gave her something she couldn't shake. Not a performance, a presence. And that changes everything. If this opened your eyes and you're serious about becoming the man who's in full control of his life, my book is now available. The Undeniable Man, Built to be Chosen. It's a strategic guide for men who want to attract, lead, and dominate in their love life and beyond. Whether you're single or in a relationship, no fluff, no tricks, just pure, powerful strategy that will set you apart from 99% of men, and that you will actually use every day. The link is in the description. And if this video spoke to you, don't just keep your thoughts in your head. Write a comment, even just a few words. It helps you remember these lessons, and it might help someone else too. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this content, and share it with someone who, in your eyes, needs it right now. Just trust your instinct. We're all trying to get clearer, more solid inside. So let's build minds that don't break.